it's Mary with Happy Pine Soap. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a really intricate 8-color swirl technique today. I was inspired by Tree Marie Soapworks, her ebb and flow video, and I'm going to see if I can replicate it with my own super fluid recipe. So if you would really love a recipe that stays fluid and easy to work with for say 20 to 30 minutes, that's what we're aiming for today, so that we can actually get 8 colors and swirling and some gorgeous designs from this soap today. So I hope you enjoy. If you haven't hit the like and subscribe, go ahead and do so. That helps my channel grow. And without further ado, let's get started. Murphy's joining us today as well. Say hi, Murphy. What you doing? Are you hanging out with Mom today when I soap? All right, so our color scheme today is going to be a beautiful kind of blue, gray, and yellow with a pop of this gorgeous poppy red, as well as some black and white. So everything is from Mad Micas with the exception of the charcoal. This is a pre-blended, just activated charcoal with some lightweight oil. We have Blue Tide, Bermuda Triangle, Luna, Poppy Red, one of my absolutely favorite bright pop of colors. Sour Lemons is also one of my personal favorites. King Tut is a gorgeous gold that kind of turns more of a, it's not quite as bright as this in cold process soap, so it tones down that gold color a little bit. And our Snow White here is going to hopefully help us achieve a super white batter as well. And then Love Letter is our fragrance. This one is not supposed to accelerate. It's supposed to behave itself very well. It doesn't really discolor too badly. So we're going to give this one a try as well. Here is all of our gorgeous colors measured out. Essentially, you're going to be using 1/2 teaspoon for all of the colors except for white. White, you can use a bit more to really make that soap batter white. And I used 1 teaspoon of the Snow White mica, but all the rest is 1/2 teaspoon. And this I pre-made quite a while ago. I don't exactly remember the exactly how much activated charcoal to oil. So, but that's easy enough to look up. You can look up that pretty easily. Just mix activated charcoal with any sort of lightweight oil with your mini blender and you're good to go. To mix them, use a lightweight oil such as sweet almond oil. We're going to do 1/2 tablespoon oil, mix them with the mini blender, and I might add a bit more oil to the white just because there's more mica. And here they all are blended with their oil. Nice and smooth is what you're looking for with the consistency so that there's no clumps. Here is our recipe. I'll include a screenshot of it at the end of the video so that you can screenshot it yourself. This is going to be a very lard heavy recipe on purpose because hopefully, crossing fingers, it will be very slow moving. Lard tends to move slower. I backed off the lye concentration in terms of a water discount. Normally I love to soap at 40%. I lowered it a little bit to 37 just to put a bit more water in the recipe to hopefully give us more time to soap. And we're going to soap at super low temperatures as well to try to slow down that trace. And here are your additives. Again, 8.3 ounces of soap batter for each one of our 8 colors is going to be poured into separate pour containers. Again, that 1/2 teaspoon of mica, the 1/2 tablespoon of sweet almond oil for each color, except for the white. As I mentioned, the Snow White has 1 teaspoon of mica and about a tablespoon of sweet almond. And then I'm going to add some ground coffee into several colors just because I love scrubby soaps. You do not have to add this ingredient whatsoever. So yeah, as I mentioned, this will be put at the end of the video as well as the screenshot so that you can have a nice clean copy of it. This recipe is a little over 4 pounds, so I have a very large slab mold here. I think this slab mold basically holds 5 pounds of soap, if I recall. I'm not 100% positive on that, though, but I know it's one of the bigger ones. And as you can see, I have made some marks along the sides of my mold here. They're set in 1-inch increments on all sides, and that will be very important for the ebb and flow design. So that I'll go over a little bit later when we're pouring our soap. The first ingredient has been measured out. That's our lard at 22.08 ounces. It's a beautiful, nice creamy lard. This is Soaper's Choice that I'm using, that is deodorized lard, and it's just a fabulously performing lard for soap. Our next ingredient will be coconut oil. I get this from Costco. It's a wonderful coconut oil. And what I usually like to do when I'm soaping is put all the hard oils. Those are the hard oils are ones that are literally hard at room temperature. So that's the coconut oil, that's the lard, as well as the cocoa butter. I put them in first and then melt them and then add the soft oil. So those are the olive oil and the castor oil, the ones that stay liquid at room temperature. And I always do that for every soap recipe. That's the way I really like to melt them and control for temperature as well. Our last hard ingredient is the cocoa butter, and I'm using the ivory ones from Crafter's Choice, back when cocoa butter was cheap. I know how expensive that particular oil is these days, unfortunately. So let's go ahead and weigh this guy out. Close. Good enough. 3.21, we'll call it a day. Here are our hard oils melted, and you have to get them to about 145 or slightly above 150 for the cocoa butter to melt fully. And this is when I like to add the soft oils, which will basically drop the temperature pretty rapidly. And again, to reduce acceleration, you want to be soaping at very low temperature. So I want my lye at room temperature, which is probably around 70 degrees, and I want my oils to be around 85. Our first of these soft oils will be our olive oil, which I also get from Costco. And then the second one will be castor oil, which I get from Brambleberry. Olive oil is also another wonderful oil that tends to perform really well in terms of not accelerating trace or slowing it down. So I include quite a bit of this as well. We're doing 9.2 ounces. And if I haven't mentioned already, you can see that the recipe I included also has the grams equivalent for every measurement in case you're from a different part of the world. Here in the US, I know. We don't use the metric system. We just have to be difficult, don't we? All right, we're just about there. Perfect. Our combined oils are now around 119, 120 degrees. Again, I want to reduce that temperature as much as possible so that the soap batter stays fluid for a very long time. I'm going to shoot for about 85 degrees Fahrenheit, and any lower than that, you risk accidentally having false trace and your soap batter not emulsifying. So we don't want to do that. So 85, maybe a little above, but that's pretty much the temperature I'm looking at. So I'll put this aside and I'll meet you back here, probably about 20 to 30 minutes, I imagine it'll take for this to reduce in temperature. While we're waiting for our oils to cool down, I checked my lye. I made it the night before. It's at 68 degrees, so that's perfect. It's slightly discolored only because I used a little bit of coconut water. And so that always changes the color a little bit. I like the addition of a bit of sugar in my soaps. And the video you want to be looking for, if you're interested in using coconut water to add extra lather and extra, it feels really fabulous in soap, is the spoon plop design. So that is listed below in the description if you're interested in incorporating sugars into your soap. That's a great video that teaches you how to do that, as well as my fruit puree soap. The strawberry puree soap also teaches you how to incorporate sugar into soaps successfully. Here are our oils after they have come down in temperature, so about 86. So I think we're actually ready to start soaping here. Hopefully this recipe will stay nice and fluid. So let's cross our fingers and get to work. We're going to carefully add our lye solution. Sorry about the noise in the background. My husband is doing some housework with some power tools today. Hopefully it's not too loud. All right, so carefully add your lye into your oils. You want to burp your stick blender to release any air bubbles. So I'm only going to blend this very, very lightly. I want it to barely reach an emulsion and don't want to blend any further because we need this batter to stay at very, very light trace. All right, I think I might even stop there. It looks like it actually is holding together. All right, so each color is going to get 8.3 ounces of soap batter. So let me start splitting these off into 8.3 ounce batches, and then we'll get our colors stirred in. Whoops, I went a bit over. I'll pour that out. All right, now we're going to start adding our colors. I'll do the charcoal first. I want a nice deep black. And thankfully charcoal is one of the best for a gorgeous rich black color. All right, that looks good to me. And then let me get all of the colors into their containers now. Okay, I've added all the colors. Here they are. Here's Luna. And as you see, a beautiful thin trace. There's not even trailings at the top. So it is still holding at that right above emulsion stage, which is exactly what we want. Our sour lemons, and by the way, that's the dried coffee grounds. They're used coffee grounds too, by the way. Don't use fresh ones or your soap will be brown. You want used coffee grounds that are dried. So about a teaspoon went into each color. Yeah, it's beautiful. Very, see that thin trace? It's super thin, barely any trailings at the top. And I also added some coffee grounds to our gorgeous poppy color. Oh, isn't that funny? It matches the spatula. Huh, the exact color. That's so funny. And again, beautiful. Everything is behaving itself perfectly. This recipe is going to be a winner. I can already tell. We also have our lighter blue color. Again, holding at that gorgeous, very thin trace. You see those trailings? You can see them in this one very easily. But it's really just barely there at just a little bit past emulsion, which is exactly what you want. Lard is fabulous for this. Thank you, lard. Beautiful, beautiful thin trace. And we got our King Tut over here, also looking beautiful. And again, just the perfect consistency. I'm so happy with this recipe so far. And last but not least, our Snow White, which reminds me now of Oreo cookie dough or ice cream, Oreo cookie ice cream. Yummy, don't eat it. And also beautiful thin trace. All right, let's get started. So essentially you're just gonna gently pour different colors, just in a random, I'm not really gonna make it, you know, where it has any specific pattern, just randomly start pouring little pools, and then we'll add other colors into the pools. And this is where it's kind of fun and artistic. Just have fun with it. right, guys, I've gotten all the colors in. Shake down your mold really good to flatten out the soap. And it's easily been a half hour, guys, so this soap recipe is perfect. They're all nice and fluid still, and we're going to begin the swirl. So essentially, we're going to go down the edge, and then we're going to come up the other side. So you're going to do a back and forth motion, basically. And I'm going to line it up, make sure it's a nice straight line here. There we go. And we're going to essentially do this all the way across. And then we'll switch it to the other direction. All right. Whoops. There we go. And line it up. All right, we're gonna go the other direction. I already went down along the side of the mold, and I think I'm gonna skip the ruler because I'm afraid it'll actually fall in. So I'm just gonna do my best to just do it by freehand. Here is our finished soap. I'm going to oven process this. Basically set your oven to the lowest temperature. For me, that's 170 degrees. You're going to want to pop the soap in, turn your oven off, and then leave the oven light on. And basically you can keep it in your oven for 3 to 5 hours roughly, and then it'll be ready to take out and hopefully cut in a few more hours. It's been about 4.5 hours. I just took it out of the oven. It's still too soft to cut, so I'm going to leave it set out overnight. And then we'll cut it in the morning, and hopefully it will be hard enough and set up enough that we will be able to get some beautiful bars from this gorgeous piece of art. This is the next morning. I'm ready to start cutting it into separate bars. As you see, this is the underside of it. It's super cool looking just by itself. So what I think I'm going to do is try to cut it. Ooh, it's still so soft, guys. I'm nervous. I don't want to ruin it. There we go. So these super liquid recipes are oftentimes a lot softer. You pull. And it makes it harder for me to cut them and show you the video in the same week, basically, because they're so soft. Sorry, it's all over my hands. All right, I'm gonna have my husband help. Can you just gently hold it from behind? Yep, perfect. This is a two-hander job, guys. All right, we're gonna put the first bit through. Oops. I'm gonna have to slide it carefully. Let's bring this guy back around here. Here is our first bit. As you see, it's so soft that unfortunately I'm getting damage. But the good news is I will let this sit for a couple of days, and then I will bevel it and clean it up after I cut these bars. So the finished product will be a lot neater than what you see, of course. But it is way too soft for beveling. We are not going to be able to do that today. All right, the next cut in 4-inch increments. If I didn't mention already, I'm doing it in 4 inches to get our individual slabs here that will be cut into bars. Here is the next and final 2. Try not to touch the top because that's the pretty part. And this guy here. There you go. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Let's go ahead and do the next one. I think I will cut this one here. They might be slightly different shapes, but that's okay. I like the idea of keeping the swirl on each one. So this makes it kind of easy to decide what you want the top of your bar to look like. There we go. And then I can clean this guy up later. I think I'm gonna just clean this edge up here. There you go. Perfect, we got our first 4. All right, our first 4, here's what they look like. We got candidate number 1. I have to carefully almost use 2 hands because they're so soft. And I don't want to touch the top. Candidate number 2. And again, all of these edges will be beveled later when they're a lot harder. I mean, right now you can almost just do it by hand, but you can really see how soft. That's still very, very soft. And I don't want to ruin the design, so we'll wait a few more days. Let's see, candidate number 3. Very cool. I love how unique every single bar is. They really look like some sort of abstract painting or something. I'm loving it. It's so pretty. And number 4, this guy's a big boy. All right, our next 4. This is one of my absolute favorites. That gorgeous, it looks like a feather down the middle. Very, very pretty. Ah, I love it. Here's another one. Absolutely beautiful. This one has more yellow in it. Such a happy color. I love it, that pop of color. And then our last one from that slab is this guy, another really beautiful feather. Love it. Here is another one from the last slab. I'm just showing them as I cut them. So beautiful. Here is the next one from the last slab. Love the black in this and how feathery it is. The third one from the last slab. Very, very beautiful. Let's put this one here. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty. And then this guy, let me cut off the end of this one as well. I've been cleaning them up, basically. There we go. And then this guy here, I'm trying not to touch as much as possible, is the last and final bar. So here they all are, finally cut. And again, I'll show you them next week. I think I'll bevel them. I'll do a lather test. Ooh, look at that one. Ooh, I think I might have a new favorite. I'll do a lather test with them as well next week so that you can see how this recipe performs. There's all the bits and bobs I cut off. But yeah, I'm very, very happy with this recipe. As you see, works beautifully for very complex designs that need a very fluid soap batter for a length of period, you know, of about 30 to 40 minutes, I would say. In fact, you could probably even, if you needed 50 minutes of pouring time, this actually may work with this recipe. I easily got 40 minutes of pouring time. So very impressed. I will bevel them. I will do a lather test in a short little video next week, actually. So look for that. And thank you so much for being with me today. I hope you found my tutorial helpful. And I look forward to seeing you all in the next soapy tutorial.